1 through 9 were a very a solid program in terms of the hitting side. I think we changed a lot from last year. I think last year we were very power oriented, and I think Zach touched on it a little bit where we've tightened up with our two strike approach and putting the ball in play more and being very gritty at the plate. We got a lot of speed on the base pass this year. That was not a factor last year. I don't think we had many stolen bags, but this year we've been seeing it in scrimmages a lot that we can definitely steal bags and get into scoring position so we can drive in those runs.
What are some of those changes? Because we've seen analytics take over a little bit in this program. We know Joey's all over some of that stuff. Just what kind of change to where you guys needed to adjust a few things to where you guys are hitting with two strikes, getting the ball in play? Just where have those little changes been in some of your swings?
Yeah, I think it's we've definitely shortened up our swings. Most of us, I mean, we all have different types of approach with two strikes, but moving up on the plate, not afraid to getting jammed, really putting an emphasis on putting that ball in play and getting runners over and playing a little more small ball. I mean, we've seen a lot of bunting in scrimmages that we didn't do much last year as well. I mean, we got guys on the base pass. Like again, I think an addition that's really impressed me is Tyler Epstein. He's a shortstop coming in from a school in Florida. Steals the bags really well, plays really good defense, and it's just an overall really good impact for our team.
Can you talk about why generating offense, not just through home runs, is important for this team? How it can kind of keep the defense on its toes?
Yeah, for sure. I think it makes it easy for an opposing team on the pitching side if there's a lot of strikeouts. There's no pressure on the defense. There's no pressure on anybody in the field. It's basically playing catch back from the catcher to the pitcher, putting the balls in play hard, especially with runners on and in close games, late in the games. It adds that sense of urgency for the defense to make those plays and adds that pressure for them.
Was that an easy change? I mean, I guess an adaptation for this offense, or was it like it took time for you guys to kind of really understand the approach and then execute what you guys were being asked to do?
Yeah, I think Hawkins did a great job at making it a simple approach for us, keeping things very simple, not making things complicated. So overall, it was a pretty simple adjustment. I mean, we got guys, again, a lot of transfers coming in who have done a good job at that in the past at their previous schools, so it makes it easy for sure.
Are you going to be throwing it all this year?
No throwing for me.
Yeah.
The pitching career is over.
Is that a good smile, or is that a...
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little easier on my arm for the most time. I mean, last year I kind of just got out there for Evansville and kind of threw. I didn't really have many bullpens before that, but yeah, I mean, I obviously love pitching, but I mean, every time there's time to close a chapter in your story, and I think it was a good time to do so.
Is third base kind of a position that you enjoy? Is that where you prefer to be? How do you feel over there?
Yeah, I think I'm fine with where the coach puts me to play. I mean, last year I was in left field. That's where I saw my playing time. It doesn't really matter for me. I mean, I played third base in high school, so I'm pretty familiar with the infield. But once again, it's wherever I can help the team is the most important thing.
Brant talked about it. Zach talked about it. You talk about it. You guys really do seem to put the team first. What is it about this team that feels like a team that wants to work hard, wants to be successful?
Yeah, I think it started in the fall when we had our fall was a little more high intensity in terms of at the beginning. We went through a lot of different things that helped grow us together as a team, and I mean, I think the chemistry in the locker room is outstanding. And obviously, once you get on the road and stuff like that, and you start winning or you start losing, those things can change. But it's a pretty tight-knit group, and putting winning first has been a goal for the coaching staff and us from the beginning, and we're ready to do that.
Road trip to open the season. How do you guys go about taking that seriously, coming away with the results you want, and then bringing it back here for opening day?
Yeah, I think it's not a big difference. Obviously, you like to play at your home field in front of your fans, but I think there's also some energy and some excitement going to some big schools like Southern Miss, playing in front of a tough crowd, competing and trying and coming out with a series win.
You set an MSU record with 2 Grand Slams last year. First, can you touch on that game in general? And then also, do you have your sights set on any other record breaking?
Yeah, I think the most important thing in that Bradley game was to get a win and ultimately get a sweep in that series. So it was pretty cool to help the team out there in that aspect of things. And in terms of what my future holds for me, I mean, I think Zach touched on it. Like we just want to win as a team. If you put the team first, if you put accolades aside and all that type of stuff, it's things are going to end up well for the team and for yourself. So we're just ready to win.
Nobody's cracking on this G stuff when we ask about his last year. Now it's all for him, right? This whole year and everything. That's all the talk in the locker room.
Yeah, it's not all the talk in the locker room. There's definitely some of it, but he made it a pretty smooth transition when he mentioned it. We were going over like bunt plays, and he kind of just out of nowhere it popped up. Nobody knew about it. It was kind of just like a little bit of a shock, and we went right into practice. So I mean, he hasn't made it a big deal. We haven't really made it a big deal. Obviously, when you get later in the year, that might affect. I mean, it probably won't affect him. He's a pretty even-keeled guy, but I mean, once you get later in the year, maybe there's a little bit, but nothing.
How about seeing some friends from the north coming down to play? That you're not just we know Joey's putting emphasis on that, and you got more and more coming in, and even recruits that aren't here yet for future years. Just have you been a part of some of that recruiting at all? Talking to people, just kind of what's that been like?
Yeah. So Caleb Thomas is a freshman this year. I actually played with him for 2 years. He actually committed here before me, so he was actually kind of a help in order to get me here. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool that this program's kind of expanding into up north, and it's exciting. I mean, I continue to see names that are popping up from up north, and it's just like, oh, there's another guy off the board. So it's pretty cool. It's exciting that we got a lot of guys in the upcoming years coming. But yeah.
What is the vibe like in the locker room? I mean, like, do you guys feel like you have the components or the potential to have a special year, to have a ring-chasing year, and maybe a World Series berth?
Yeah, I think the vibes are right now pretty immaculate in there. I think they're amazing in terms of we love playing as a team. We love competing on the field. I think one thing that we can touch on this year is like our competitiveness is through the roof, from scrimmages to just competitions in the locker room or competitions in the indoor. The competition's through the roof, and the team's got high spirits for this year, and I really think we can do something special this year.
Taeg, forgive me if it's actually common where you come from, the name Taeg, but it seems like I had a hard time pronouncing it right away. I'm just wondering, are you named after someone, or what made your folks go with Taeg? What does it mean?
Yeah, it really has no background, at least from my understanding. My dad wanted to name me Taeg, T-A-G. My mom was like, we're not going to do that because it's just a little odd. So she decided to throw an E in there and pronounce it still Taeg. So it kind of really makes no sense to me, but I mean, I really enjoy the name, and it's pretty unique. There's definitely not many people up there that are named that, but yeah.